Hi everyone, I'm just going to do a tutorial on how to make the book Advent. As you see, it opens up with the ribbon and it has 24 Advent gift boxes inside. As you open them, they're nice, and I've used the gold Mirri inside of the card, and each one can hold chocolate or whatever you want to put in. And show you the stuff that I've used on creating this. So Hunkydory Mirri card, adorable scoreable, and the Designer Ultimate Christmas Collection packs from Hunkydory. Next, we're going to make the Advent boxes. We'll need to cut 48 squares of 3.5 by 3.5 inches. The first 24 score at half an inch on all round sides on the left hand side of the scoreboard. These are the toppers that I've used, and the bases are going to be done at the opposite side. I'll explain that in a moment. Right. So from one A4 card you can cut 6 boxes out of
one A4 sheet of gold Mirri card.
If we just cut 3.5 by 3.5 inches, we can get 3 out of one strip of A4 card.
So that will make 3 boxes. That's the second box. Second square, sorry.
And again, that's the second, and this is the
square.
third
That's
strip.
just out of one strip, and then we'll be able to do another 3 out of the next strip of the A4. If you just continue doing this until you have cut 48. Next, we're going to score down to create our folds to create the box lid. But on the scoreboard there is, at the top, if you look closely, it says the lid, box lid, and that's in the left hand side. And then if you look at the right hand side at the bottom, it says box base. So on the first part, we're going to score on the left hand side to do the box lid. So now we'll score at on the left hand side. So we will be scoring Mirri facing away from us, and we will score at 3/4 of an inch all the way round. Yeah, so it's 3/4 of an inch all round, and then fold and burnish on all 4 sides. Next, we're going to cut up the 3/4 of an inch right onto the edge and take a slight chunk from one side to the inside of the card on all 4 sides. That just makes the cards sit nicer when we create the box lid. Just watch you don't pinch your finger and if your hand's underneath. Again, and that's 4. So next we're going to glue down the sides to create the box lid. I like to use these little pegs just to secure it. It gives it a better fit, and I always use Hunkydory construction glue. I find it's quite a good hold. It's a strong glue and it sticks permanent. It dries clear. Just be careful you don't get it on the actual Mirri outside. So if you just do a little dab and on all 4 sides. And then if we just stick it down, oops, just a little bit of excess card there. Yeah, if you just glue it down so that your edges are even and no overlapping at the sides. You want it to have a nice tidy finish. I really like using the gold Mirri. It just brings so much of this Advent book box. It just gives it quality, and I think anyone receiving it as a gift would really like it. Now that they're all stuck down, just leave that to dry and we will start our box base. And again, we use the right hand side as it says box base, and we score again at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. Mirri facing away, it just gives it a tidier finish, no marks on the Mirri. And again, we fold, this time we're folding towards us. Reason being, I like the gold in the inside of the box. It just stands out more when you open it. Again, just fold and burnish and cut up the 3/4 of an inch just to the edge, not over, and then take a small notch out to give it a neater finish, and so it sits in with the box lid. So if you just do that on all 4 sides again. And again, just next one. Sorry for my nice Scottish accent. I hope you can all understand me. Oh, just clear that notch away, sorry. And that's it all for it. Again, we just glue, but this time we will glue the tabs inside. So we are working the glue on opposite sides and putting the tabs inside instead of in the outside. It gives it a nice finish instead of having, it just gives it a nice finish and it fits better in the lid. It finishes outside of the box neat. If you can see, there's no showing of them, and inside the box you don't really notice them. It's a bit time consuming, but it's worth it when you see the finished result of your Advent book box. I recommend the Hunkydory Mirri. It's very high quality. It's quite strong as well. Just let this dry. Once it's dried, it dries fairly quick, the construction glue. We can pop the lid on and just make sure it's a secure fit. It should fit perfect. Always just double check before you construct everything together on your next one. And that's I've already done all the other boxes now. I'm just going to decorate them. You can choose any type of card or paper you wish. I prefer the Christmas range ones. Obviously it's a Christmas Advent box. You can actually do this for birthdays as well. Right, we are needing 1 3/4 of an inch by 1 3/4 of an inch. That's the measurement to decorate the tops of your boxes. I've chosen the Christmas paper cards, the Ultimate Christmas Designer Pack from Hunkydory. So if we just cut again to the sizes, you don't need to have the same ones. You can, as I've done, just pick different designs on each box. They look really nice once they're on. Let's just put it all together to make it. Doesn't need to be the exact same. You can pick whichever designs you prefer. It doesn't need to be these specific card designs. Again, I'm using my construction glue. Dries fairly quick. Once you put it on, just hold it for a couple of seconds just to secure it. It's actually one of the best glues that I have used. I would recommend to use it if you have it. If you don't, whichever glue you find is very strong and sticks, but you still need a little bit of wiggle room to move just to correct if it doesn't sit properly. Again, we'll just continue and layer up the box lids. Next, we are going to start the Advent book base. This is before we do our gold toppers and everything. So we are going to need a piece of card. I've used Adorable Scoreable White, and it measures at 15.5 by 9.5 inches. I will show you how to cut the large end. So we cut the large end first, and we cut it down to 15.5 inches. We can't really cut off the 9.5 inches at the moment because it's still too large for the trimmer. So what I usually do is I will score first and then start cutting at the end after scoring. It makes it easier because you can fold it over. So now we're going to score at, on the 15.5 inch side, we're going to score 6 3/4 down. And again, we're going to score at 8 3/4 down. 8 3/4. And then we just fold and burnish just to make sure we've got a crisp end. So if you can see, there's 2 inches between the spine part of the Advent box. So if we just turn over and fold and burnish, and just make it as a sharp fold to secure it, gives it a better finish. And again, it's fairly strong card, but once you layer it up with the Adorable Squirrel, the designer Christmas card, it secures it and makes it quite a strong book Advent. So now we are going to cut the folded ends down to 9 3/4 of an inch. That's the only way I could get this to fit. So hence how we did the scoring first, and now we have the book base. So moving on. Next we will cut the gold Mirri to layer on top of the book box. So we will need in total 4 sheets of gold Mirri. We need 2 for the front cover and 2 for the back cover inside the book. So next we will cut our first 2 pieces to 10 3/4 by 7 3/4 and score all around at 1/2 inch and fold and burnish. So that is 10 3/4 and now 7 3/4. Always double check before cutting your measurements. I don't know how many times I've thought I've measured it right and cut it wrong, so always double check. So we need another 2 pieces for the inside of the card, and again that will measure to 9 3/4 excuse me, by 7.5. And we do that on 2 pieces of Mirri card, and on the 7.5 inch side, we score at a 1/2 inch into the centre. So on the 7.5 inch side, if we scored down the centre, sorry, this is the front cover one. So the front cover we're scoring at 1/2 inch all the way around until we have this. Again, I'm just double checking measurements as I always do. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Again, if you notice, the gold Mirri is facing away from me. It just gives it a better finish. It doesn't mark it as much as on the other way. And now we just fold and burnish each corner, each fold, sorry, just to make sure it's nice and crisp. Now that's them all done, and now we are going to cut right across, right on the edge, just a slight small part just over the front. This is just to create the corners on the book advent box, and you do that on 2 of the front pieces of Mirri card, because we'll be doing that on both sides. And that's 2 done. So once we've done that, we will now stick down. I put red liner tape all the way around the fold ends, these parts, and I glue in the centre. Gives it a secure finish, and it sticks down better, and it stays stuck instead of coming down sometimes when you use just lower tape. This is the inside piece for the, as it says before, we cut at 9 3/4 by 7.5 and scored down in the half. Just double check again that your measurements and your cuts are all done properly. Do 2 of these as stated, as done before, and then score down at 7.5 for 1/2 inch in, downwards, Mirri facing away again, and 1/2 inch, just make sure it's scored properly. Again, 1/2 inch. As you notice, I always write my measurements on the inside of the card that I am using, just to make sure I have got it all correct. And we are folding these towards the Mirri side. This is because this goes in the inside of the advent book box. So next we're going to do the gluing. Oh, sorry, we do the layering next, and I chose the burgundy, and it measures by 9.5 by 6.5 inch, and the top layer is a Christmas card of 9.25 by 6.25 inch. And this is the layer, the layer for my inside card, and that's 9.25 by 6.25. The inside only needs 1 layer of card, because we're going to be putting the advent boxes inside it, so it doesn't need any more toppers or layers. Right, so we will cut the burgundy at 9.5 by 6.5 inches, and we need 2 of these. And I try always keep my excess card, because some we do use again. And we need 2 of these. That's 2. I've already cut one earlier. Just sorry, I need to cut this one. And again, next we cut the top layer. And we are measuring, again, it's 9 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch for the top layer, because we still need a little edge round. Makes it look a bit neater. I've cut this part at the bottom more because this is for the back of the book. I have done this deliberately. I just wanted it slightly less on the back, and the front I will decorate more. So again, 1/2 inch. Sorry, yep, 1/2 inch. And next is the top layer of card is 9 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch. 6 1/4 inch, because it's a top on both sides. This part we need to measure to that'll go on the outside. So the burgundy will be 2 inches by 9 1/2 inches, and the top layer, the topper for this, will be 9 1/4 by 1 3/4 inch. And just, if we start gluing this in the inside, we do this with the gold, and the next layer topper, again, that'll be 9 1/2 by 6 1/2 inches. Do not need to do the burgundy layer, so we'll cut this because the advent boxes will go on top of this, and they actually stick very secure with construction glue as well. Just double check your sizing when cutting, because we don't want any mistakes. I've done quite a few of these when I was prepping it. And again, if we just keep the spine part for the centre. Before we glue it, I've got some wire ribbon, and I put that, you just measure to the desired length. I have measured enough that it can give a bow, it can tie a bow in the end. It's your preferred choice which type of ribbon. I just think this one's, it goes better with the Mirri card and gives more of a classy Christmas feel. Now, as I said before, we're going to glue the layers. The gold Mirri, I will put the red liner tape round the edges. That gives it more of a secure fit, and I'll just go ahead and do that just now. Can be a bit time consuming doing it, but the longest I have took to do a card was 6.5 hours. So I can have patience when I want, but when you know the end result, it's worth it. And a lot of these, you can't go into a shop and buy these. These are handcrafted, so they're extra special gifts. And again, just do that all the way around. Right, I have done that. So next, we have to glue and stick down. So these go on the front of the book cover. Construction glue, I'll put that on first. You can do it either way. I'll take the tape off first and then put the glue on. Whichever way suits you, whichever way you can work with. Put the red liner tape round all 4 sides on both. Sometimes I can get this red liner. I'm going to add the top
part off, and sometimes I can't. I need to use
glue,
a pokey tool.
Construction glue, sorry.
It depends if my nails are long
I'll take
or
the
if
red
they're
liner
short.
tape off first. You can do it which way you find is easier.
I like how when you take the liner tape off, it gets a bit stiff and sticks to your fingers and you can't get it off as well.
Take the red liner tape off on all 4 sides.
Give it a wee shovel to get it off. And now just stick some construction glue to glue the centre. It's important that we do glue the centre of the card,
on the
card.
That's
just
me
to
remember what
and
measurements
to
I was
create
doing.
a tougher connection bond, so that it's sturdy when finished. I have used old, like thicker card reused from boxes to create these advent book boxes, which are really solid. This one can have a wee bit of movement, but it is solid enough to hold them, and a bit lighter. But it turns out just as good, to be perfectly honest. If I just edge them up on, just gentle, you get a bit of movement with the construction glue, which is what you need for the centre part. But red liner tape, once that sticks, unfortunately it sticks, so you have to be precise with where you are gluing and folding. And now we just fold over and just burnish over the top, just to make sure it's secure. We don't want it coming away. It shouldn't come away as long as it's been put down securely. And again, just do that on all 3 sides. And next we glue the centre part on. I forgot to say about the gold outside the panel. That is measuring at the red liner tape is 2 inches by
burnish it down
10.5, because you've got half an inch tab at the top and half an inch tab at the bottom, because it needs to fold into the centre so that you don't see the space. As you see, what I did with the other one, you just do the exact same again.
Like 300 GSM.
I've used the red liner tape again, and I've cut notches out just so it creates a wee gap to give it a neater finish on the edge.
When you see,
and again, that's me with the red liner tape. It either comes off or it doesn't.
The opposite side again.
I'll look for the pokey tool.
Exact same. So,
yep, there we are.
Next, I'm doing the exact same with the gold centre as before, and just fold it over.
It's amazing when you want something to work, it doesn't.
So I'm just doing the corner bit first. It just seems to stick a bit easier if I just do one edge first before I put the glue on as well on this one, because it can be a wee bit tricky.
And just fold over again,
so
and
once I get this
secured down. And next we will do the insides. So the half-inch fold, this is, we're just doing the exact same. We're putting that into the centre. It's just so we can open and close the advent book box.
I will take the red liner tape off,
and we will stick that down securely. Again, we will measure the gold Mirri for the centre. That is 9.5 by 2 inches. Could be slightly under, just so that it gives it a wee bit of opening and closing. And now we will put our layers on. Again, you can put red liner tape round the edge, but before we do that, we have to put, sorry, I've just went ahead, I'll take the glue off in a second, so I forgot to put my ribbon on. So we do make mistakes. It's all when you try to remember to do something and you forget.
This side is done.
So that'll give me enough time to put my ribbon on. I'll just grab the ribbon actually.
Maybe a second, just to try and get this.
So what I do is I'll put a bit of red liner tape down the centre,
pop it up,
just to secure the ribbon, to make sure it doesn't come off, because the glue won't hold that securely, even with the layer on top. So just
nudge
cut
it a wee bit
enough to cover the length of the ribbon,
It's always when you're trying to do
the
something,
side, the width, sorry.
So,
and
just
I'll
fold
just
it
take that
over,
off,
and next we'll be doing that
and then I'll do one at the opposite side,
the centre.
just to
Again,
secure it
this
down.
goes, so the fold we did goes in the inside of the spine, and again we just glue it. You can put red liner tape on the edges if you want. I do it on the inside. If we just do that all the way around again, exact same way, and then again the layer of the card. Don't need to have the 1/2 inch tab over because we're only layering to cover the tabs from the opposite side that we put on.
I love red liner tape. It seems to it's got a very strong
again
bond.
the measurement as before.
When you do put it down,
we'll put that on,
and I
don't need to have the tab as
on.
I says. Just cut the bits off and get it normal.
Just make sure it's all secured down, and
right,
there's
that's
slight gold
covered. So now we will do
it's shorter
layering
than
so
the layer of the card.
Obviously,
gold
cut
Mirri
layering. I'll glue on,
and again we'll just do the next side of the centre
card.
Once you've got all the pieces down, it does stand out.
All
it
around
looks lovely.
The gold. So again,
I love
I'll use my construction glue. I just like it.
And I get excited
fairly quickly, and it
June
attaches really good to my card.
for many crafters. This is our crafty Christmas. Who likes to watch some movies when they're doing their Christmas crafts or listen to Christmas musics?
On each front card,
just pop this down. And again, just make sure it's stuck down securely. Oh, before we stick it down, actually, we need to get our piece of lace. That's that side, and just do just enough to go over so that it can tie into a bow, or whichever size you feel right. I like to put a bit of red liner tape on, just slightly over, then
to
glue
give it
all 4 sides and make
extra
sure
strength. So I put one at this end and one at the other end. And just take it off because it actually holds it better, gives it strength when you're tying it close. So if we just pop that down, I like using the ribbon with the wire in it. It just tends to fold over and look really nice. I've used a normal ribbon, that's just as nice, but I just feel as if
make sure there's plenty of glue in the centre of it because we want it to stick down.
A traditional Christmas card. Just stick that down, and then we just pop. Sometimes you can pop an extra bit of a red liner tape just at the end to make it extra strong, but I'll just stick it on top just now. And again, you do that on the opposite side when you're laying the card down.
Again, we'll just pop a bit of red liner tape down. Next, I'm trying to do this step by step just so that you can see most of the steps. So it is fairly long tutorial, but it gives you every part of putting this Advent book box together. That's that done, and just make sure it's all secured down and even. And this is, and we will put on the next layer. It's looking good. Now we will
on the layers. The larger side, the larger design is in the front, and the smaller design in the back, and the centre fold put in the 2-inch, sorry, 1 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 1/2 inch. Again, just glue all the way around, and then stick down. No, I'm still doing it. Continue gluing all the way around. Sorry if you can hear some buzzing out the back. It's my neighbours decided to cut their grass. And just make sure it's even all the way around again. And stick down. And again, just glue and stick down. And just make sure it's even as the sides. You don't want any sitting off. And final one. Right, that's both the front end done and the ribbon. And now we will, when decorating the Advent book box, you can choose whichever you want to decorate it. I'll show you what I used at the end. And again, it's the festive foliage down the bottom, and then just layer that on top again, and I'll glue that on. And just secure it down. Make sure your glue has dried. Just burnish down. I use a Hunkydory burnish. It's really, it's quite wide, so it makes it a quicker job for doing. And I'll just turn it over, and excuse the sheet. I'm a bit of a messy crafter. And now we will just do the layers for the inside of the book Advent. One, two, 3. I think the lights stand out in this design. We'll just position our boxes just a slight small space on each end. I always choose corner to corner and then try to do the centres, but I layer the way I want them first, as you can see. Try and do them kind of similar designs on each side just to keep the balance of it. So I'll try and keep the same gap around. So I've done that and I've glued them all down, and I have used the following items just to decorate. So these are the moonstone numbers. You can get them from Hunkydory. So I've put them on gold because they stand out better. And now the front, I have used moonstone dies again. It's the layering dies and the toppers, the Christmas topper collection. So this is the moonstone layering die that I have used, the fancy labels. I've used two of them with Mirri and with the festive topper. And thank you for watching. This is the toppers I've used. Beautiful, beautiful range. But thank you for watching, and I hope you have all enjoyed the tutorial. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. So that's that, and we just need to glue it down now. I'll do that as quickly. This is the boxes that